Depends on if you're open to a trailer or not.
How much does a trailer cost?
Depends on the area. Capitan, you might be able to find one.
Oh, I don't want to go out there. No, I was just going to buy one just to like, where people come up and they want to stay or something like that.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out. It's tough right now unless you've got cash.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we are live. And so this is my first meeting here at the Civic Center, so bear with me if I make a mistake. So we'll call to order the Workforce Housing Committee of the Village of Ruidoso. I think everybody received today a copy of the minutes and also the agenda. First off, we need to do roll call. Who's going to do roll call? Samantha? Is that?
Jackie, are you available on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, Boardman Overhill,
Present.
Boardman Alred,
Yeah, Pete here.
Boardman Thomas, Boardman Keenan,
Here.
Boardman Russ, Boardman Meeks,
Here?
and Boardman Brooks. Is Boardman Brooks here?
She is.
Oh, I see her. She says she's here. Okay. And you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Can you certify that we're in compliance with the open meetings resolution?
I noticed the meeting posted in accordance with Resolution 2021-01 of the Workforce Housing Advisory Board.
All right, great, thank you. We have approval of the agenda next. Can I get a motion from the committee?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from, January 28th, 2021?
I have a
I'll
motion, and I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Then we will approve the agenda. The minutes were sent out previously to the committee members. If you've had a chance to review them, I'd entertain a motion for approval on them.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Charles. Do I have a second?
I'll second
I
it.
have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, then the minutes will stand approved as well. Do we have anybody who would like to put public input in on the meeting? Hearing none? If you're on mute, just in case, so make sure you're off mute. Okay, hearing none.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is Lee Crawford. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry I couldn't be with you today. I have another engagement, but I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all the work that you guys are doing and that we are still trying to proceed with this and looking for options and alternatives. And so I want you to know that we do appreciate all the work that your board is doing.
Thank you, Mayor Crawford. We appreciate that. So we appreciate your support. Seeing no other public input, then we'll move on to housing objectives. That was a Freudian, I think. So.
I think we did that last year.
I think we've been through that, so it's a committee. Oh, hold on, sorry. Sorry, I've got all kinds of stuff going on here. Samantha, do you want to present this to us?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Oberhue. Thank you, board members. I just want to reiterate what the mayor said. We really appreciate your all's time and effort to help us achieve this goal of providing housing to our community. Recently, as a normal part of my day, realtors reach out to me and they want to talk about uses that are allowable at land that is coming on the market and what could potentially be placed there. And so he wasn't in any way reaching out to the village for an option to buy. But after looking at this myself and talking about uses that could take place on this property, 603 Meacham came to mind, and it's 5.3 acres, and so it's got access off of an arterial road, which is important. It's got some great potential because it's not too steep, and I wanted to present it to you all to see if you thought this would be a good neighborhood use of the land before we go any further in the process, because as you all have known, we've gone down this road and turned around a few times. So I just wanted to get a feel from our committee and see what you all thought of this. I can pull it up on Google Maps just to give you a reference. It's the other property a little bit north of Michael J's restaurant. So in between Barkus and Buckner. It does have a single-family residence on here along with another structure. But if we got further along into it, maybe it could be a community type of a use for the housing development. Let's see if I place the little person there. It's fairly close to the college and the grocery store, which has a pharmacy within it. So I think that that's a huge plus for having it located here. Now, multifamily housing by our land use code is a conditional use approval, so we would have to go through the process of going before the Planning Commission. However, it's not out of the question to have that type of a use in this neighborhood. And there is some, a restaurant there, and a little further up, we've got that mechanic shop across the street. What did we have? Well, this is the.
I think it's a good location. I mean, I know exactly where it is. I drive by it almost every day. It seems like it's got a lot of room around there too.
5.3 acres, yes. So in the past, when we were looking for land suitable, they had mentioned anything around 3 to 5 acres would be great. And so this being slightly over that threshold is awesome. So it just really stood out to me, and I wanted to get your all's take.
Samantha, is this located on the east side or the west side of Meacham? I guess I was thinking it was on the
I believe the
east side. The opposite side from Albertsons, correct?
On the same side of the street as Albertsons.
Oh, so that's on the west side then.
So we have Albertsons here, Apache Condos.
Okay.
Mountain Tech, and then the next property would be the
Okay.
603.
And the price on that?
The price on it was $693. However, it's held by a trust, and they've pulled it off the market to try and to figure out some issues. But I don't think today we should consider the price. There's several methods that could be negotiated if the council decided to go in that direction. But do you all think that this would be a positive impact to the existing neighborhood, or a good location for this type of a development?
Well, I think it would be perfect almost, because it is on a transportation route, close to the grocery store,
Close to the college.
college, walking distance to Midtown. Yeah.
I think the only, and Samantha and I talked, the only issue would be scoring on the piece of property, because unfortunately it's not located close enough to Midtown. But, we talked a lot about some of the properties along Meacham in the past, And I think most of us were fairly positive that we thought those might be good locations. We just couldn't find the right location, so.
Well, it's perfect for public transportation now.
Right. Does any of the committee members have any additional comments or thoughts?
I think it'd be nice because it's nestled back in there, and so it's not, for the neighbors that are around there behind it, I don't think it's going to be as much of a, I guess, I don't know, as visible as it would be in Midtown where our first property was. It's walking distance to Midtown. It's not that far. I think it's a great location.
What was the size of the property in Midtown again?
The Mashburn tract,
Mashburn.
that was 5 acres.
It was 5 acres too, okay.
Chairman Oberhue also pointed out that we have a medical doctor's office on, is it Poor Drive? Dr. Damata
I
is
believe it's on
located there.
Poor. I think it's Poor. It's right there. It's definitely within walking distance.
That is Poor Drive. I would like to add a couple of things. First of all, I recall this committee placed a request with the village to look for exactly the kinds of properties that you've brought to us today for our consideration. And of course, that means looking at what might be available, what is available, and those kinds of things. And so timing and the timeliness is dependent upon so many factors that, we really have only seen a couple of different properties as long as this committee has been in existence. But I do want to add my positive remarks to this discussion and say that this appears to be an excellent location for all of the reasons that have been cited. And I definitely believe we ought to keep it under consideration.
And we mentioned Albertsons, to be honest, Thriftway is pretty close there too. So you've got actually two grocery stores were easily within walking distance, I would think, so. I would be supportive of looking at this. I even told Samantha that potentially, and I haven't seen what the neighborhood penetration is immediately around the area, but you could even put a little bit of maybe a green space around a portion of it, just to give a buffer to some of the neighborhood. We'd have to see how that lays out. I mean, at the Mashburn property, we took up most of it in the design, but there was a little bit of area there that could have been utilized, I think. So, Samantha, what do you need from us on this?
A recommendation to our governing body. The workforce housing supports the use of this property to be multifamily housing.
Okay. I'll entertain that from the committee.
I would place the recommendation before the committee that, and I've forgotten exactly the wording that you're looking for, but that we forward a recommendation to Village Council for use for a workforce housing project.
Okay. I have a motion to forward this. Do I have a second?
Second.
Cecilia seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, then we will approve that recommendation. Anything else on that?
No.
Okay. Community development report?
Right now, we have our land use zoning code underway, and we've contracted with Site Southwest to rewrite our land use code. And in July, for y'all's meeting, I'd like to convene to go over some of the uses that could potentially allow for live-work situations in our commercial districts, as well as maybe reducing the minimum lot sizes in some of our residential zones to accommodate more housing. And so we should have more detailed information for the types of changes in the different sections of the code. But I'd like to bring that to you all in July have you weigh in on how we can improve our housing situation here in the village.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you.
Any comments from the committee on that? Okay. Samantha, you have anything else you want to bring, or is that it?
That's all I've got.
Okay. Move on to item 8, board member comments. Anybody have a comment or thought?
There's
Can y'all hear me?
We can.
Oh, good. I finally can talk. Y'all know I like to do that. I think it's an excellent piece of property, and I love the idea of it being used for that.
Great. Thank you, Becky. Cecilia, did you have a comment?
Well, I'm thinking it's so tough to find pieces of property that are available. And that study that was done at the last meeting, Miss Taylor, is that her name? We did, I thought was worthwhile of what was available or who owned it and et cetera, et cetera. And, but it's still tough for us to find a piece of property that could meet all the criteria.
I agree.
I think the price too, I mean, if it's gonna be lower than 600,000, I think that's a heck of a deal for that area. I mean, I'm not a realtor, but it just seems like that's pretty reasonable.
Thank you, Charles. Did Clayton have anything additional?
Well, the comments have been pretty focused. I would just like to comment on all of the changes that are going on in Midtown. The infrastructure improvements, I think that was a much needed project. I think it's not necessary.
You're not, yeah.
I'm commenting on the infrastructure improvements in Midtown. And while that's not one of the projects that we've been directly involved with, I think it indirectly involves the work that we are pursuing in terms of making Ruidoso a more attractive and more efficient and effective place. And I just want to compliment the village on pursuing that in partnership with the state.
Thank you. I'll share that with everyone. I appreciate that.
My only comment, and really maybe we should have talked about during the community development, as far as the MRA designation, where does that stand currently?
At the March council meeting, the village council adopted the plan. We do have the resolution in place. And so next steps is actually putting this plan into action. And so we're excited to get moving with that.
That's exciting. Good. Okay. Any other comments from the committee? All right, hearing none, then I guess we'll adjourn this meeting. As Clayton tells me, don't ask, just do it. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for your attendance today, and our thoughts to the village and stuff on dealing with your absentee situation. So thank you.
Thank you.
Todd. Thank you, Todd.